Hey, so tonight we're going to explore life as a medieval monk in a Benedictine monastery. And I mean really experience it authentically, not the Hollywood version where monks are just mysterious figures chanting in shadows all day, but the actual detailed reality of a rigorous, disciplined routine filled with prayer, hard work, and simple living that shaped much of Western knowledge and culture. Oh, and if you're enjoying these stories, I'd really appreciate a like or subscribe. Super curious where you're all listening from. So, drop a comment with your location and what time it is there. Always blows my mind how people are falling asleep to this all over the world. Alright, find that cozy spot. Take a nice slow breath and just let your body sink into whatever you're lying on. We're heading back to the 11th century, to a stone monastery in rural England, like the great abbey at Cluny in France that influenced so many. And trust me, you're going to be real grateful for modern comforts like central heating, varied diets, and personal privacy by the time we're done. So, congratulations! You just took your vows as a novice in this Benedictine community, following the rule of Saint Benedict, that ancient guide from the 6th century that structures every moment of your day with prayer, work, and study to seek God in all things. You wake up in the darkness, the chill of the stone dormitory seeping through your thin straw mattress. It's around 2 in the morning, and the bell tolls softly but insistently from the church tower, pulling you from sleep. You feel the rough wool of your habit against your skin, a simple tunic of undyed cloth, belted at the waist, with a scapular draped over your shoulders like a long apron for work, and a cowl to pull over your head for warmth. The fabric is coarse, scratching slightly as you move, a constant reminder of humility and detachment from worldly comforts. Underneath, you wear basic linen undergarments, changed infrequently, and your feet slip into leather sandals that offer little cushion against the cold flagstones. The air smells faintly of damp stone and lingering incense from last night's prayers, mixed with the earthy scent of unwashed bodies, yours and your brother's, since bathing is rare, perhaps once a week in a communal tub, to avoid vanity and excess. You hear the soft rustles of the other monks rising around you, about 24 in this long room with its arched ceiling and narrow windows shuttered against the night wind. No one speaks, silence is the rule here, especially at night, to foster contemplation. Instead, you communicate with simple hand signs if needed, a finger to the lips for quiet, or a gesture mimicking eating for mealtime. You make your way down the dimly lit corridor, your sandals echoing faintly on the stone, toward the church. The monastery surrounds you like a self-contained world, thick stone walls enclosing a cloister garden in the center, with herb beds and a fountain trickling water for washing. To one side, the chapter house for meetings, opposite, the refectory for meals, and beyond, the scriptorium for copying books, the infirmary for the sick, and fields for labor. Everything is built of gray stone, weathered by centuries, with wooden beams overhead and rushes scattered on the floors to absorb mud and provide a bit of insulation. As you enter the church, the first sensory wave hits, the flicker of beeswax candles casting golden light on the altar, the sweet, resinous smell of incense wafting from the censer, and the cool, musty air thick with history. You take your place in the wooden choir stalls, carved with simple motifs of vines and crosses, the wood smooth from years of hands resting there. The abbot, your superior elected by the community, leads the office of vigils, night prayers, with a deep, resonant chant. "O God, come to my assistance," the voices rise in Latin, harmonious and rhythmic, echoing off the vaulted ceiling. You join in, your voice blending with the others, feeling the vibrations in your chest, a soothing repetition that calms the mind even as your body aches from the early hour. This lasts about an hour, psalms recited slowly, readings from scripture intoned by a brother with a steady voice. It's meditative, the words flowing like a gentle stream, pulling you into a state of quiet focus. Afterward, you return to the dormitory for a brief rest, perhaps 2 more hours of sleep on that hard pallet, your body sinking deeper now, relaxed by the ritual. Dawn breaks, and the bell calls again around 6 a.m. for lauds, praising the light of day. You rise once more, feeling the stiffness in your limbs from the cold. Temperatures in these stone buildings hover around freezing in winter, with only a small brazier for warmth in the common areas. washing your face and hands at the lavatorium, a stone basin with running water from a spring, you notice the crisp scent of herbs from the garden, lavender and rosemary planted nearby for their purifying qualities. Breakfast follows in the refectory, a long hall with trestle tables and benches. Silence reigns here too, as a brother reads aloud from a holy text while you eat. Your meal is simple, a piece of coarse rye bread, perhaps soaked in ale or water, and a bit of cheese or fruit if the season allows. No meat in the main dining hall, that's reserved for the infirmary where the sick might need strength, but fish on certain days, and vegetables from the monastery's garden. The bread is hearty, chewy with a nutty flavor, baked fresh in the kitchen ovens you can smell faintly, with smoke mingling with yeast. You chew slowly, gratefully, knowing this sustains you for the morning's labor. Now comes the chapter house meeting, around 7 a.m. You gather in this circular room, seated on stone benches along the walls, as the abbot reads a chapter from the Rule of Saint Benedict and discusses community matters. Confessions of minor faults happen here, perhaps you admit to daydreaming during prayer, and penances are assigned, like extra chores or fasting. The hierarchy is clear, the abbot at the top, chosen for wisdom, below him, the prior who handles daily operations, then obedientiaries like the cellarer or managing food stores, the sacrist caring for the church vessels, and the novice master guiding newcomers like you. Social dynamics are built on obedience and humility, you defer to elders, but all are brothers, sharing in decisions through votes in chapter. Interactions are respectful, with bows and signs, fostering a sense of communal support rather than rivalry. After prime, another short prayer, it's time for work, manual labor as prescribed by the rule to keep idleness at bay, the enemy of the soul. As a novice, you might be assigned to the fields, tilling soil with a wooden hoe, the earth cool and loamy under your hands, smelling of fresh dirt and rain. Or perhaps in the scriptorium, copying manuscripts, you sit at a slanted desk, quill in hand, made from a goose feather, dipping into ink ground from oak galls and iron salts, the sharp, metallic scent filling the air. The parchment is smooth yet textured, scraped animal skin that crinkles softly as you write. Illuminating letters with gold leaf and pigments brings moments of quiet joy, the colors vibrant against the page, a way to glorify God through beauty. Around 9 a.m., terse interrupts for mid-morning prayer, a brief pause in the church where the chants rise again, their melody soothing like a lullaby, helping you breathe deeply and recenter. Back to work, you feel the sun warming the cloister, birds chirping in the garden, a small orchard of apple trees and beehives humming with activity. The monastery isn't isolated, lay brothers, who take simpler vows and focus on labor, work alongside you, and occasional visitors bring news from the outside world. Noon brings sext, then dinner, the main meal. In the refectory, you sit in order of seniority, listening to readings while eating pottage of beans, leeks, and herbs simmered in a pot, with bread and perhaps ale brewed on site, tangy and low in alcohol. The flavors are plain but nourishing, the steam rising warm against your face. Portions are modest to avoid gluttony, but on feast days, extras like eggs or wine add variety. Afternoon unfolds with none at 3 p.m., more work or study, reading scripture in the cloister, the pages whispering as you turn them, or tending the herb garden, crushing leaves between your fingers to release scents of mint and sage, used for medicines in the infirmary. Skills you learn are practical, herbal remedies for ailments, basic literacy if you're educated, or farming techniques to sustain the community. Challenges arise, backaches from bending in the fields, the temptation of worldly thoughts during silence, or digestive woes from the fiber-heavy diet, sometimes leading to parasites. You solve them through discipline, prayer for strength, herbal teas for health, and communal support, confessing struggles in chapter. Socially, you interact with care, helping a brother with a heavy load, sharing a silent nod of encouragement. Customs like the weekly foot washing on Maundy Thursday reinforce humility, as the abbot washes your feet, the water cool and cleansing. Conflicts, like disputes over tasks, are mediated by the rule, emphasizing forgiveness. As evening falls, vespers at sunset fills the church with golden light filtering through stained glass, the chants evoking a profound sense of peace. Supper is light, bread and vegetables, then Compline, the final prayers, with the beautiful Salve-Regina hymn, voices blending in harmony that wraps around you like a blanket. You retire to the dormitory by 8 p.m., the day cycling in this rhythm, each part building towards spiritual growth. Amid hardships, the cold biting your toes, hunger gnawing occasionally, isolation from family, you find beauty, the first light on dew-kissed herbs, the intricate patterns in a manuscript, the shared silence that deepens bonds. Wonder comes in the stars visible from your narrow window, reminding you of divine order. As the story of your day winds down, reflect on how this monastic life preserved knowledge through copied books, advanced agriculture, and offered sanctuary in turbulent times. Yet, across centuries, human constants remain, the need for community, purpose, and rest. In our modern world, with its distractions, we can learn from their simplicity, the value of routine, silence, and seeking meaning beyond the material. Now, take a deep breath, feeling your body heavy and relaxed. Let the echoes of those chants fade into quiet. Your eyelids grow heavier, thoughts drifting like leaves on a stream. Sleep now. Rest well.